Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to talk about Wofford's Way martial arts. It is a unique style that was invented by me through through multiple other martial arts that I have accumulated in my arsenal over the years, which is wrestling, boxing, street fighting, jeet kune do, military self-defense, and a couple of other things I dipped and dabbed in. So I noticed in a lot of traditional martial arts and a lot of other martial arts that there are flaws to it, and every martial art has its flaws. Don't get me wrong. Um, Being in street fights and things like that, I know what works and I know what may not work. And I tried to put together the best fighting system for me that I possibly can in order to come out dominant and win. Whatever works is the tactics that I use. And a lot of people, there's hundreds of different martial arts styles, and which means there's hundreds of different martial arts stances and strikes and punches and things like that. So going through most of those martial arts, I'm not saying that I took those martial arts, but observing a lot of those martial arts and actually practicing some of those martial arts, you begin to see what works for you and what doesn't. Not saying that it couldn't work for someone else, but this particular form that I have is a lot more realistic because it cuts through a lot of the 1, 2, 3, 4 technique. Instead of doing that, why not just go straight? And sometimes I've always believed that being straightforward is always the best way to go. Why go around when you can go straight forward? Now, these various images and techniques and philosophies that I have, uh, they may need a little tweaking. They may need to be worked on a little bit. But this particular fighting system that I have made is very effective, especially on the street. And I have trained with professionals. And like I said, my buddy, he's a MMA cage fighter. So we've been best friends for over 30 years now. And we wrestle and grapple and train all the time. And, although my style is a little bit more freestyle than his, it doesn't make his style any better and it doesn't make my style any better. But it does make it more efficient for me in the way that I fight and the way that I see things and the way that opponents and attackers and yada 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 comes to me. So in the years of experience that I've been fighting and doing all these things, I noticed that it really matters. It really matters your culture, your race, and things like that. Your fighting style. I've noticed that a lot of African American males, they like to grab and slam, and a lot of white males like to box and use their feet, and a lot of Easterners, they like to use their feet and their elbows and things like that. So, and of course, you got your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but it was technically made in the Eastern countries. Jiu-Jitsu, it came from the Eastern countries until the Brazilians, the Spanish, came out with their form, which is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So the thing is that you use whatever tactics that work for you. You utilize that, but you have to utilize it through experience, not through going through a bunch of strikes and techniques on a dojo floor and thinking that it's the same thing as self-defense. It's not. Learning how to strike and learning how to kick and doing with proper form is totally different than learning how to defend yourself with a punch and a strike and a kick. It's totally different. It's a totally different philosophy. It's a totally different strategy. Everything's different. Some things do work. It just depends on your opponent and depends on you, skill level, your skill set. But it's different. So I think that what I'm going to do in order to continue to progress my style, in which I've been doing for over 30 years. I'm going to continue to go to different gyms, talk to different street fighters, and actually see what's best for them. And